Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2. Today we're going to be responding to another one of those race-baiting morons from TikTok that undoubtedly, inevitably, invariably got shared to Twitter. Because if you're going to say some stupid crap like what we're going to be discussing today, you are going to receive some criticism for it. I have, on this channel, and on my main channel of course, held on to for many years the mantra of No Lives Matter. The reason why is not just because of Cthulhu, which you should all vote for this year. No, it's also because I genuinely believe the only way for all lives to truly matter, no lives need to matter first. A guarantee of equality and equity. You are all treated with equal disdain. The person we're going to be covering in this video does not share my beliefs on life. So let's just dive right in.
But listen, we need to have a conversation. I know y'all give compliments a little bit different because of y'all culture or your lack thereof.
First of all, your video starts with "Dear white people," after a cracking start. Then you talk about a complete lack of culture whilst acknowledging a form of culture. This could be a Poe, you know. It could be. You're speaking very fast in the vain hope that people might not be able to keep up with your thought process. That's cute, it's quaint, it's adorable. White people on this planet make up quite a small portion of it, yet have controlled the planet for a long time. White people, yes, took over the world. Yes, they adopted cultures. White people make up, European especially, a vast swath of what is considered culture. Many people go to these places because of the food, they go there because of the attractions, the tourism. They go there because of the culture. The music as well plays a part of that. And I know, multicultural, it's eye-rollingly adorable. I just wanted to point at that briefly because I thought, you know, weak point from the offset.
But we got to talk about this physical boundary y'all are constantly violating. I was not touched this time.
Well, then the obvious question is, physical boundary, but you were not touched this time. You're about to use an anecdote to demonstrate your point of a physical boundary being violated, but you've admitted from the offset that that is not what happened at the same time. People like to talk. It's a novel concept, I will admit, where the mouth is opened, sound comes out, language is brought forward, and engagement is born from it. Discourse. If all you're doing in your life is looking for a reason to crap on somebody for the colour of their skin, you are no better than half the politicians in the United Kingdom that consider themselves progressive, yet simultaneously are equally racist. You are no better than any other ideologue that goes into something with a very binary interpretation while using race to justify your disdain towards another group of people based on an arbitrary factor like race, which is more commonly known as an ism. Don't suppose you know which one that is, do you?
But let me just give you the backstory.
It's been a while since we had a good story time, so brace yourselves. It's that time of year again.
Earlier this week, I was in Walgreens. There was a little old white lady standing in front of the nail selection. I was in front of the eyelashes. I'm in Florida. I feel like that's important to the story.
For those who don't know, Walgreens is an American company that operates the second largest pharmacy store chain in the US, behind CVS Health. A little old white lady is a pensioner who happens, coincidentally, to be of the white variety, which means, yes, she's racist because she's white. And Florida had to be mentioned because we all have to roll our eyes here. Florida is not as woke or progressive as many would like it to be. It has a Republican governor who has dropped out of the presidential race, and that governor is not a fan of the more woke and or progressive ideas espoused by many who live in the state, who we have covered on this channel because they're raging that they're losing their jobs because they're doing things inappropriately, for example, in front of children. I thought it right to spell all of that out because sometimes we just need all the context we can get.
Anywho, she was like, is that you? And I was like, I beg your pardon? She was like, that smell? Is that you? Well, I wanted to say, well, whoever smelled it dealt it, bitch, but I felt like that was a little assertive for an 80-year-old woman on a Tuesday morning.
You haven't described her facial expression. Usually if someone has popped, there is a screwed up face or laughter, depending on the type of person. So one would safely surmise her query was directed at your fragrance, as opposed to you popping or potentially BO. Not my place to judge, of course, if you don't want to wash your ass or use some form of deodorant. But I'm going to surmise the pleasant smell as opposed to a negative because I don't want to just go into this seeing the bad like you, because your response in your head was, whoever smelt it, dealt it, bitch. Not very nice, I will admit, but I'm glad that a small part of you decided to use that restraint from civil society to not be a dickhead yet.
So I was like, well, what does it smell like before I claim it? So she was like, oh, it's very fragranty. I extended my arm. She sniffed. She said I smelled lovely. Fine. Good compliment, whatever.
So you mean to tell me you abided social norms by extending your arm and allowing this 8-year-old white lady to take a sniff of your fragrance? But there's a problem here, right? The societal norms, not the problem, of course. No, it's something more sordid, darker, and more heinous in the fact that this old lady had the audacity to not respect your clearly INTJ values and let you be, so you could be the most introverted introvert you could ever be, whilst also being extroverted enough to go outside rather than having things delivered like most people can. In fact, these days we can in this country anyway. The United Kingdom, we are better than you after all. All the while hating on society for something that doesn't really matter as much as it should, but you need so you can drive home a wider point of discrimination in some manner.
Well, why am I in TJ Maxx?
I would surmise you're in TJ Maxx because generally things are sold at a lower price than many other major retailer stores in the US, which I guess could be shortened down to because you're poor, or because the cost of living's gone up and you've had to downgrade your shopping experience, as you yourself have referenced it or will reference it. I can't remember when I've cut in here.
Okay, the same place I get this mug because y'all are always asking me. I'm in TJ Maxx 4 minutes into my shopping experience.
Oh, it was after. My mistake, everyone. The shopping experience, everyone. 4 minutes, and something truly horrific, a war crime, is about to be committed. We've gone from Walgreens to TJ Maxx, everyone. Just thought I'd point out there was no segue between, just simply I am there, I am there.
And I am sniffed from behind like a bitch in a damn dog park.
Are you telling me that somebody didn't respect your personal space? Your 2 meters, perhaps? Did they sneak up behind you also to take a selfie with daddy? Maybe get closer to your mug? Would Senpai's mug notice me? Maybe they went up behind you because they just wanted to give you a big fat kiss on the back of your head. It's quite common with dogs to sniff each other's backsides, I guess. It wouldn't be too hard to believe that humans would start doing it as well. South Park did meme this with them sniffing their own farts in San Francisco. I guess it's only a matter of time. Weirdly, I can actually relate to something like this because of the aftershave I use, the eau de parfum that I have, and I have been asked what it is, so I've told them. Mercifully, I'm low income, so I buy more affordable ones, and thankfully it's not any of the rather crappy Adidas Reebok ones or Umbro ones I got as a teenager from my nan. If you know which ones I'm talking about, and you still have them like I do, they shall be the template of what all perfumes are based upon after a nuclear holocaust destroys this planet and everyone's sense of smell.
What the fuck is going on? So for a second I paused and I was like, is it my boyfriend? Because you know boyfriends do that weird thing. Sometimes they just want to sniff you, and then I said, I do not have one. So it could not be that.
This fun fact does not surprise me. Not for any harsh reason, no. But because there are clearly no calluses in your hands from making sandwiches. Was that too sarcastic? Did I need my sign for that? If I did, you're on the wrong channel.
I turn around and a white lady is standing so close to me. Had she pursed her non-existent lips, she would have kissed me.
Would I be right to assume that any other time it would have been okay to kiss you in a TJ Maxx? Well, for an old white lady to. Or is that not your type? Clearly, what you're using as a smell, a fragrance, is quite the allure, the pheromone to that of the older white woman variety. I'm not, of course, victim blaming here. Just highlighting that you might have a fragrance that is more in line with those who are older, who smell it and think, she might be one of us. We need to find out her secret to youth, beyond being a bit larger, which does, of course, prevent lines from forming on the face as quickly. As you can tell on this channel, we are above fat shaming as well. Mostly because it's far too much effort to have to reply to people constantly bleating on about it.
So she's like, sorry if I startled you, you smell wonderful.
At least she had the kindness in her heart to provide an apology that was owed. Now she needs to give you reparations, go to Africa, wear some chains, and act like an absolute melon for the sake of equality and equity.
Startled me, bitch.
I'll be honest here. I didn't need to know you were a Capricorn to know you were already weak-minded. Generally, those that follow that crap involving star signs are quite weak-minded. Prescribing personality traits to a birth time of the year. I have found many a people who are Capricorn that are in fact Gemini. I have found many a people who think themselves Sagittarius, but in reality, they are a sentient cancer. I don't mean the crab, although they could have that as well. I wouldn't be too surprised.
I almost passed out on this motherfucking floor. I'm gonna get my reparations one way or another.
So that's where the video cuts out, and of course I did in fact call reparations being something. I'm not entirely sure if this is a Poe or not, and the reason the video cuts out is because the person who posted this to their Twitter didn't bother to include the identifying marker for the person's username, which many do now as a way of preventing that person from getting additional traffic. They also do it because they don't want anyone else to know who they are, which is understandable. Draw the attention to yourself. I understand that. I usually find the person and then I find other videos related to it. I didn't this time because I didn't know who it was. If you do know who this is, do let me know, but I'm not going to encourage any harassment. In fact, outright, do not do it. They don't deserve it. They have an idea. It could be a joke. It might not be a joke. I cannot tell anymore. I also thought that the final quote there about getting reparations one way or another seemed a bit strange because it didn't really tie in to the comments previously, if that makes sense. It didn't have a natural flow, which leads me to believe that something might not be either the person who spoke its thought process was all over the place, which is possible, or it was spliced. Do let me know what you think in the comments.